right, you guys. So this is the closing episode for the communication toolbox, tying some of these things all together. So we really started off with the wellness wheel, and the whole idea with the couples communication toolbox is that we're balancing our relationship between ourselves and our partner. The idea that we function as social, emotional, intellectual, physical, occupational, and spiritual people. We're really complicated inside, and all of this stuff informs all of who we are. And all of who we are is what shows up in our communication and can either lead to breaking down or help us to promote healthy communication. So we want to understand our wellness perspective. We want to understand our person's wellness perspective, our kiddos, our colleagues, and sort of assess how they're doing with their own self-balance, because that can take some pressure off of us. But it can also help us to just have some grace to see their positive intentionality. My person's more social than I am, and I can love and accept that. That's going to help me to soothe my hot brain when I feel uncomfortable that we have a difference of opinion about hanging out with other people. As with emotions, as with intellectual category, with the physical, occupational, with spiritual. I think I got everything. So with the wellness wheel, and then we talked about the iceberg theory as well. Now, I didn't bring pictures for everything, but this is my little graphic that I made years ago in my thesis. So, I mean, I don't often get to show it to people, and I'm kind of proud of it. Even though it's really simple, it makes a lot of sense. The iceberg really fits with the wellness wheel as well, but it's just this different perspective that there's the behavior on the surface, and underneath that behavior there are feelings, or there's the environment, there's the feelings about feelings, perceptions, there's worldview, there's deep down yearnings, and at the core, at the center, similar to the wellness wheel, there's that source of spirituality and that soulful identity. The iceberg is a way to assess how am I doing and what areas might I need to work on. And we talked about melting the iceberg, which is really just this idea, this metaphor of, okay, how do I just like get softened inside? How do I get sort of like snowy instead of hard as ice, and start to connect with some of these parts inside of who I am? So that's quite complicated, and actually if you find yourself saying, boy, I want to do some iceberg work, that might be a time where you go to see a clinician or a pastor or read some good books, because it's hard to just do that all on your own. Hammering out boundaries. So we talked about boundaries. Boundaries are, as Henry Cloud says, where one person ends and another person begins. This real importance of that mutual respect, this reciprocity, understanding, why do I have boundaries? Because of all of this. My boundaries are really the circle that surrounds my wellness wheel. It is an important goal to make sure that I am taking care of all of who I am. And then further to that, when I am committed to my person, we start to set up a boundary around this relationship and really set out how do we protect just our little balance between the two of us. Boundaries are really important to consider the depth or the breadth with different relationships, my core group, my outer group, or extended family, extended relationships, colleagues, the world around me, the global world, and then also barriers. So what do I do with those toxic people? You do not have to try to work to maintain every relationship in your life. If you're doing a good job, you will have some relationships that just go okay? Like honestly, nobody should have perfect relationships with everybody. We look at amazing religious figures throughout history, and they did not get along with everybody, because a boundary says, I am trying to take care of my healthy, and that's a good role model. Okay, so boundaries, the send receive theory. So the send receive theory was really just this idea that there's a message, and then there's my own filter, interpretation, and all the ways that I'm trying to send it, the signals, my tone of voice, the environment, and then there's my person's ability to listen and interpret their perceptions, their beliefs about the world, and then the message that's finally received. So when we think about even a simple message, this morning over coffee, I'm talking to my husband, and I say, "What did you say?" And he hears something different. He gets escalated or he gets upset. I'm thinking, what just happened? But I might not be paying attention to my morning tone of voice or the speed at which I said it or whatever he's been working on while I was just getting my cup of coffee. And so all of those things can get our communication going off kilter very, very quickly. And it's just a nice tool to sort of say, whoa, how did I do that? What did I just do? Or what did you just do that got us to this point? The awareness wheel. So we want to take the issue, the concern. When this happens, I sense, I feel, I think, and what I actually want or need. And then there is a simple formula that we can actually just fill out. And it feels a little prescribed, but if we're really struggling and we're starting somewhere with trying to communicate, this is a great tool. When this happened, I felt this way. I think this is my perception, and what I actually want or need is whatever I actually want or need. Good. And then stress. So part of the communication toolbox episode on stress, I took the personal stress category and just made a mini series on stress because it was over the long weekend in May during the pandemic. I thought it would be useful for people. So you can find an extra little stress series, and all this is really well organized on our YouTube channel, and it's more chronological on our vlog on our website. Just a side note. So relationship stress, really just understanding all the different ways that stress impacts the flow between us, the different conflict styles that happen, and then conflict resolution, active listening, so all those skills about setting the stage, the environment, how I show through my body and through my tone of voice, through repeating or just being mindful, listening, asking thoughtful questions, all of those great skills. So it's all tied together. And that's it, the communication toolbox. We did it, you guys. And this will stay up on our YouTube if you feel like you want to revisit or you want to try and go back to one of the sections. That's where I'd suggest it'll be a little bit easier. I know the majority of you follow us on Instagram and some on Facebook, but our YouTube channel makes it a little bit easier, and we'd love to have you show up there and subscribe. It's not this hot medium for us. It's more so just a place where we can organize our videos so that we can get them out to everybody. Take care, and I look forward to the next series. I have a really good one I'm cooking up. Bye.